something, I think, entirely different. We're going from the grand theme of land, we've been to nature, we've been into housing. Now Julian Tait is going to talk to us about standards. Final speaker. Thank you very much.
Hey!
All right. Oh God, you don't want to hear me that loud. All right. Hello, everybody. So we've today been running Free Range Liverpool, where you go out and basically take back the city. There's some people coming back from their expedition later, which I hope you can stay around for with their expeditions. So standards, what it's all about, and actually it does relate to land. Trains. I took a train here today, not that particular train. Standards make the railways work. With standards, it allows you to see all the information. Modern life works based on standards. Things work on your phone, things work on the screens, on the platforms. But what we want to talk about is like who gets to decide what standards are. How are they determined? This is a spaceship. Mars lander, very, very, very expensive spaceship. But there was a problem with standards. When they launched the spaceship, some of the engineers used metric, some of the engineers used imperial. So when it came to land on Mars, it just decided to dive into the surface. And I'm sure Elon will find it when he gets there. And he's perfectly welcome to it. As we see, standards in measurement are all over the place. Some come from land, furlongs, yards, chains, and some are kind of metric. I mean, barleycorns. Has anybody used barleycorns these days? I mean, what are they? What are they? And why we need standards? Has anybody tried fixing their taps? I mean, it's not easy, is it? Finding a washer, finding a thing that'll fit onto your thing, that'll fit onto your tap. That's because there's a world of things aren't standardised. Pyramids. They were standardised. You cannot build a pyramid unless you get all your block makers who are making all their blocks to make blocks of the same size. But the reason why they could have those blocks in the same size is because of power. Because of somebody who was very, very powerful, who would kill you if you didn't do it, told people to make standards. This is a random picture of somebody very old. I don't know who it is. But talking about power, anybody tried to charge their phone and found they haven't got the right phone charger? That's because everybody's got different standards. You take your plug and you go on holiday and you find your plug doesn't fit in. Why? Standards and power. So the US decided to basically ensure that their part of the world all works on one standard, whereas the colonial Europeans worked over on that side. And that's why you get all these different standards and way things work. This is made by Decca. Decca created a navigation system before GPS. They also made records. And it was a navigation system that you could, pre-GPS, where you could actually navigate around the world. The Americans, they didn't like it. They thought, well, we've got our own standard. If the British use their system and it becomes adopted, that means they will own the system that allows navigation. So the Americans made sure that didn't work. That's power and standards. This is how you would get, it's not come out very well, from one side to another. There we go again, standards, railways. There's a standard gauge. And in fact, you can nearly get all the way to China from the UK using standard gauge. And the reason? Trade, money, commerce, or whatever. But where we see standards and railways and power all working out is in the Baltic regions. Baltic regions all use Russian gauges. And now they're starting to move up to European gauges because they don't want anything to do with Russia. Bombs. Standards. NATO uses one standard, Russia uses another. That's why some of the problems with arming Ukraine happen, because they use different weapons. There you go, standards again. Standards, power, how you inflict power. We're seeing this within technology. So there's a big fight between America and China about who gets to determine what the internet is like. how we get to name things or how we get to determine things. We all need to be very aware of why things sometimes work the way they do and who's decided what those standards are. Because if we not sure, or we let go of control of it, then we may end up in a future that is like this, rather than one which can benefit everybody. And this is really important with regards to land, because someone decided to measure things like that, somebody decided to plot the things the way they did, and we sometimes need to know why.